Good morning. How are you? Um, Day 22, 26 days of you. And this morning we're going to go back a little bit um, and touch on, who are you? I've asked the question before, who are you? And I got to remind you that, when there's the reason we go back and we keep covering or recovering things, like my favorite analogy, and the reason I used the 26 moniker or my analogy with 26 is there's, 26 letters in the English language alphabet. And with those 26 letters, you can make all the words. Think of how many notes there are in a music scale. And then think of how many beautiful songs have been written with those simple notes. And I'm going to find out how many. A musician, you'd think I know this, right? But I don't. I just sing. I'm just a singer. So we go back and cover the important letters of the alphabet, or the important notes on the scale, or the important lessons that we've learned. And one of the most important lessons that we can learn or discover is who are we? Who we are. Who you are. And I've got some notes here to make sure I cover what I need. But in the process of building today's lesson or today's thought, I wrote down a bunch of notes, and usually it just comes off the top of my head, and I try to feel what's happening out there. And inevitably I'll get a message, or I'll get an alert or something, or I'll look on Facebook just to see how you guys are doing, to see if you responded to some of the other questions. And I'll come across people that are feeling the same way. And it's, it's your reticular activating system, my reticular activating system, that says this must be important. Let's pay attention to it. So here we go. I want to remind you a couple things, okay? We live who we are. That's the first note I want. Excuse me, let me clarify that. We live who we believe we are. We live who we believe we are. You live your story. You really do. And I'll expand on that real quick. You live your story. Then I'll give you some psychology and some background on how this is built and how we might be able to change it, okay? Or if we want to. You may not want to. Your subconscious mind believes what you tell it, whether it's true or not, okay? It's just programmed to take in the information and process it. That's it. Now, you don't want to lie to yourself, because that becomes an incongruent way of looking at things, and eventually it will collapse or turn around on you. But you can also tell yourself a future truth and allow yourself to move toward it. These are goals. So let's talk about this. So you live your story. Let's assume for a moment that as you were growing up, you were told that you were no good. And I know I'm going the wrong end, but follow me for a second. You're told you were no good, and you believed it. And people kept kicking you and you can't do that, you can't do this, you're not supposed to do that, there's no way that's ever going to happen, you can't be a rock star, you can't be a race car driver, you're never going to go to college, you can't build buildings. Whatever it is, that happens to people. It really does, because the belief system of the others that may have been built in them, they're passing on to you. Okay, that happens. That's what happens. So now you live in that environment, and you grow up in that environment, and pretty soon you've tried to break free, and you're living your life, and that program is still running in the back of your mind, and you believe it. Well, if you believe it, that's your story. And it continually plays a loop in the back of your mind. And as you move forward in life, you try to find things that you love, or you try to find things that you think you want to do, and you start making progress. And that loop, that story, starts replaying in your head and says, you can't do this. You're not supposed to do this. How's it going, Mr. Leston? And you believe it, and then all of a sudden you sabotage, or your thermostat kicks on, and you're back to where you were. These are truths, and it happens to everybody. What about the person who listens to that and stands up and goes, you know what, you guys are wrong, I'm going to do it? Well, from the ages 0 to 7 in your life, Mr. Porter, we're going to get to it. 0 to 7 in your life, everybody. And this is, as a martial arts instructor, I make it my business to know this kind of stuff, okay? Because when kids come to me, if I get them before the age of 9, I can help with this paradigm. So can you, if you know kids, okay? 0 to 7 is when your brain is on kind of a really mellow learning process, and it's downloading all the information, all of it, whether it's useful, helpful, real, it's downloading it all. And what you're taught to believe in those age groups about yourself, about others, about environment, about finances, about relationships, about everything stays. It gets stuck in there, and that's the program you run. So you live your story. That story is going to keep playing unless you rewrite it. All right, Mr. Porter. Good morning. Somebody out there online posted a very good question about who are you and what do you love and what do you do, okay? And they mentioned that you normally do what you love. Most people gravitate sooner or later in the direction of something they love. For instance, let's say you've always wanted to be a martial artist. Always. You saw Bruce Lee or you saw Chuck Norris or you're a later generation. I don't know who the later generation heroes would be. Jeff Speakman was a good Kempo guy on TV, right? Ed Parker was in a couple of movies. But so you're seeing these people and you want to emulate what they're doing. You want to be a martial artist and you love it. You love martial arts. Oh, you think you do. You haven't experienced it yet. And you get the opportunity in your life, whether when you're young or when you make enough money to do it on your own, or you have enough time to do it on your own, and you chase that dream because you love it. You think you love it. You love the idea of it, okay? And you pursue it until one of two things happens. You discover that, yes, this is exactly where you're supposed to be, and you carry it forward as much as you can. Or two, you decide, yeah, this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, and you take off, okay? I guess there's some gray areas. If you find the wrong instructor, you move on and find another instructor. But I guess that would be your will to move forward. So you love that, you move forward. What if you love the idea of being a rodeo clown? Not a clown anymore, they're bullfighters, okay? So a rodeo bullfighter, and they do a good job. And so you chase that dream. You want to work for this company, and you chase that dream, and you love it. Okay, so and then the question became, what if you don't love anything? What if in life you get to a point where you go, I don't know. And today, in today's society, there are a lot of youth, and what I mean by youth, 16 to 29, who still don't know what they love or what they want to do. And I've asked my son this a few times, even when he was growing up, and it became an angst situation. It became very stressful for him because he felt like he should know what he wanted right away. He should have a plan. He should know what he loves. And well, if you haven't experienced a lot of things, how do you know? How do you know? So if you don't know what you love, and I'm not talking about relationships, maybe I am, but let's not go there yet, okay? Let's talk about livelihood, career, hobby, things that you're doing, things that you do, okay? Let's stay there for a minute. So if you don't know what you love, try them. Try the hat on and do it. Get out and experience as much as you can and find out. And don't make a snap judgment, because you may end up in the wrong place doing the right thing. You might find an instructor that just doesn't know his hat from a hole in the ground and is teaching you things that, bless his heart, that he thinks is real and it's not, and it ruins your experience with martial arts. And I see that happen a lot too. People come in here with the wrong paradigm. They have really no clue what it's really about because of what's going on out there. That's okay. You kind of help them and teach them. But what if you're that person who finds that and it ruins it for you? Well, if you truly think you're going to enjoy something, good morning, seek out another venue. When we talk about setting goals, I tell you, and we can do this as we move forward into our workshops, take massive action toward a goal. Massive action. Okay, and what I mean by massive action is this. If you think you want to achieve something, you need to change that to, this is a must, even if it's a must try. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody or yourself for the most part. If it's, just don't do things that You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you what to do. Do whatever you want, okay? You make it a must. I'm going to try it no matter what. And then you take massive action. You don't just go to one place. You go to 5. You don't just jump out of one plane. You jump out of 3. Not all at once, right? Massive action. That way you have kind of what if you only have one opportunity? Read about it. Go online and talk to other people who are experiencing things. If you're not getting the experience you want that you know that they're getting, seek it elsewhere. Does that make sense? Find out what you love. Now, do we all love our jobs? Quote unquote job. I work, not me, but somebody, we all work for somebody, right? I work for this corporation. And I don't necessarily love the corporation, but this is just an analogy. But I love my job. I love the people I work with. I love what I do. I'm fulfilled by the actions. Does that mean I am now what I do? It could be, let's say you're a machinist. So define for me, what is a machinist? What traits or characteristics does a machinist have? And if you can't categorize a group of people that are machinists that have the same personality types, that's not a machinist. That's you running a machine. Does that make sense? So we are the story we tell ourselves. All right. Kind of went around and around. Let me try and organize it for you. I want you to understand that who you are right now is a result of the decisions that you made yesterday and the paradigm that you've been running most of your life. That's who you are right now. Who you believe you are is who you tell yourself you are, or who somebody else told you you were and you believed it. Believe me? I hope so. Good morning, Cindy. Every aspect of your core, everything that you do boils down to your belief systems. Your decisions you make are the states of mind that you're in and the state of emotion that you're in at the time. Those all come from who you believe you are and how you're supposed to respond to these situations. Let me give you some examples. Do you do what you love, or do you love what you do? Do you do what you love, or do you love what you do? If you love helping people, do you get that opportunity? And I hate to pick on your job, but do you get that opportunity at your job? I would be willing to say that if you're semi-satisfied at your job and you love helping people, you help people in your job in one way or another. If you're a waitress or a waiter and you love helping people, you're going to do fairly well, right? If I ask you, who are you? And you say, I am a waiter or I am a waitress, what personality types does a waiter or a waitress carry? And if you can't group a bunch of people that are waiters and waitresses into those personality types, it's not them, it's you as a waiter or waitress. Does that make sense? I'm a martial artist. Seems like I was born and raised there. It's what I do, it's who I am, okay? Every makeup, every core, every fabric of my being is a martial artist. I set out to train as a martial artist because I wanted to beat people up. I was being picked on. I was being bullied at a very young age. Father died when I was 9. It was kind of an emotional wreck, right? Kept it in, and people chose to pick on me because I was reserved. Whatever reason, it didn't matter to me. I just knew I wasn't going to put up with it anymore. My instructor didn't tell me, no, you can't do that. He said, okay. And he taught me a better way. But he allowed my reasons for being there to either grow or go away. I loved the idea at the time, in hindsight, of beating people up. Why? It made sense to me to not let them pick on me anymore. I was going to beat them up. So much changed, okay? as a martial artist, I learned how to kick and punch, and then I learned way more about the martial arts. And I'm going to, I know you guys hear me talk about this all the time, but that's who I am. Okay. I'm going to share with other martial artists this right now, and I'm going to touch more on it tonight. If you only have kicking and punching, you're about this far into it. And if you love the martial arts, look for more. Really, look for more, because there's so much more out there. There really is. And if you only seek to learn that much, fine. You'll get it, you'll learn it, and you'll be okay with it, really, because that's what you want. Me, I'm not that martial artist. Okay, there are a ton of really high-ranking black belts who are really good at this much stuff. Now, I'm not saying that's all I'm saying that much of martial arts. They do the kicking, they do the punching, and they teach, and they can speak really well, and they look good, and they're popular, and they've got it. And they do that, and that's what they do, and they're really good at it, and bless their hearts, that's where they're at. That's where they need to be, and that's where they want to be. Not me, I wanted more. And I sought to learn more. So as a martial artist, who I am, I studied philosophy. I'm a philosophical martial artist now. I'm a martial artist who understands or pretends to questions, who likes philosophy. Okay? I studied finance in school and economics. Why? Not because I wanted to be an economist or a financial guru, but because as a martial artist, I wanted to understand that aspect of life. I study relationships. Why? I want a better relationship, but I'm not a relationship person. I'm a martial artist who knows a lot about relationships. I wanted to help people more, so I studied life coaching and strategic intervention and how to help people attain the best of what they want. Why? Because as a martial artist, that was important to me. So now I'm still a martial artist no matter what I do. As a stockbroker, as a financial consultant, I was a martial artist who did financial consulting. As a singer, I'm a martial artist who sings. Why? How does a martial artist react? What can you do? Can you take a group of martial artists and say, this is how a martial artist acts, and then say that's you or that's me? Well, I used to think so, because in the old days, it seemed, at least in my view, that all of the martial artists I was growing up around had the same strong morals, strong ethics, strong respect for each other and others and themselves. They had the same levels or attainable levels of discipline as each other and self-discipline. They had the same attainable skill sets as others did, and they had strong character values that seemed to go along with who they were. Not so much anymore. I look across the board at martial artists and I see that that's been watered down. I say this a lot about: take a barrel of wine, add a drop of shit, you got a barrel of shit, right? Sorry, I wasn't going to cuss. I was going to try and build these so that my daughter could use them for her 6th grade class, but it happens. It has happened, and so I can't say that anymore. But I can say it about me. So now I am the martial artist that others will look to for a way to become, I hope. I don't say that I'm great and that's what's going to happen, but I take the responsibility upon myself after 40 plus years and the rank that I've achieved and everything that I've become, that inevitably people will look this way. And when they do, I want to put my best face forward. I want to put my best foot forward. I want to make sure that the people that look to me on how to become what I have spent my life doing look at me and want to achieve that and go further. My goal is for every martial artist who comes to me or looks at me or comes toward or even interacts with me at all will stand on my shoulders someday and take whatever it is they've got from me further than I could ever imagine possible. And that includes the deeper meanings, not just the kicking and punching. So who are you? What do you love? You are your story. What story are you telling yourself? What paradigms do you have? And can you make that bigger and better for other people? What do you think? I think I'm going to leave you there. the question was earlier, in the absence of love for something, what do you do? What if you don't love anything? What if you don't want to be this or don't want to do that, or want, as a job or a career or an action or a hobby or a lifestyle? Seek it out. Try things. Don't try things that are going to hurt others. No, try things that will hurt you. I can't tell you what to do. I'm sorry. Just my rule is whatever I try needs to, one, feel congruent with who I am or who I want to become. Okay? I'm not, well, we'll stay there. And, excuse me. Two, it shouldn't hurt other people. Now, I'm not talking about hurting people's feelings. If I move forward and I become something that somebody else has told me you can't be, or they don't want me to become, and they're not a part of my immediate life. I'm not talking about my wife. I'm talking about friends or acquaintances or whatever. Oh, I don't want you to do that, because they don't want you to leave them behind. I'm sorry. I'm moving on. I'm going forward. Okay? I'm not doing it to hurt you. I'm doing it to help me and whoever else is coming with me. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to, I don't hurt people. I don't want to hurt people. All right. Good. Who are you, Kevin? Who are you, Andy? Amy? Cindy? Matthew? How you doing? Who are you? That's my question. I want an answer. Who are you? Are you a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a husband, a friend, an enemy, a teacher, a martial artist, a police officer, a business owner? Who are you? And then when you answer that question, answer this. The answer that you used, can you categorize everybody else who claims to be that is like you? Or is it you who is that? Okay? Ponder it. Have some fun with it. Good. I think that's it. What do you do for a living, and why do you do it would be another question. Everybody works for somebody. I run my own business. Why? Because I'm a terrible employee. Ask my boss. No, I'm just kidding. Because I have such a strong idea on how things should be done, I decided that I was going to only be able to do it for myself and others. So I help people, and I'm capable of doing it very well. And I will continue to do that as a life coach and as a strategic intervention coach and a health coach. That's what I do. So still teaching, but that's what I do. Here's the question for you today. I just pointed out questions for you guys, though. I want an answer. Okay. But here's the general question for everybody to take home with you. Ponder it. It's Wednesday. It's a beautiful day outside. We're headed into September. Can you believe it's almost September? Here's the question, okay? If you could be anybody, or if you could be anything or do anything, what would it be? Let me say it again. If you could be anybody, and I do that because of this. People have a hard time seeing themselves as something else. So let's take ourselves outside for a minute and go, if you could be anybody, well, if I could be, I just want to be John Wayne for a day or a month, or I like John Wayne, or how about this? This was a good one. If you could be any rock star, who would it be for a day? You know, I'd love to live Paul McCartney's life for a minute. I'd love to be, you know, what's his name? Led Zeppelin singer. Why can't I think of his name? Led Zeppelin singer for a day. I mean, imagine the things that he saw. Just to live that for, you know, crazy stuff, right? So if you could be anybody, who would it be and why? Or if you could be anything you wanted, anything, astronaut to Mars, I don't care, whatever it is, be whatever you want, what would it be? Okay, what would it be? Go nuts. No limits. No limits. Make it real, make it congruent, but no limits, okay? Or if you could do anything, it could be a vacation. It could be take the next year off, okay? If you could do anything, what would it be? Please contact me and let me go. Let me know. Cindy, mother, wife, and trying to find a career. Used to be a teacher. Are you still a teacher in here? It depends on how long you were a teacher, right? If it's ingrained in who you are to teach, trust me, you don't get away from it. You're always teaching. You got to be careful. Try not to teach your loved ones, your husband, because they get tired of it. I'm always in teaching mode. A career. How do you find a career? Ooh, do you want to do a workshop on that? I think you voted for goals, right? I think it was Cindy that did that. Cool. Next week, I'm going to add how to find a new career in with how to achieve your goals. Because so far, I've only got one vote, and that's what we're headed for. The first workshop is going to be how to achieve your goals. I have reinvented myself several times, Cindy, several times. And I'm always a martial artist who is doing something new. Okay, we're going to talk about paradigms next time. We're going to talk tomorrow probably. We're going to talk about how to change that program I said gets put in there between the ages of 0 and 9, how you can actually change that and reprogram it to be beneficial. If you've got some limiting beliefs, I've got the tools to help you get rid of those and move forward. So that'll be next time. I love you guys. Who are you? Answer me, okay? I've got one person. And I'll see you then. We're good. All right, on your mark. You got your assignment. Get set. I got to say goodbye, don't I? I love you. Good morning, Sarah.